Alright guys, welcome back to another Opera Omnia video where we are going to be talking about the next pair of BT Plus characters to be dropping to Global at the end of October into November. And that's going to be none other than Cloud of Darkness and Vayne. Now with Cloud of Darkness, she is going to be getting a small rework and her BT Plus. And then with Vayne, Vayne's going to be getting a rework, his LD weapon, and his BT/BT Plus. We're going to be talking about with these two characters what upgrades they are getting, what are they going to be benefiting to the party, and then of course we will get into who they synergize with, which characters would actually benefit in having them in team comps alongside with either Cloud of Darkness or Vayne. And then I will be mentioning who I plan to BT Plus towards the end of this video. Now I do have a special guest. He has been in the channel here multiple times, and this time he is going to be helping me out with this Should You BT Plus video, and that's going to be none other than Kaiden himself. What's up, man? Welcome back.
Thank you for having me. Good to be here again. I honestly think that we have way too much fun together, so hey, I'm happy to be here.
So he is also going to be giving his input on certain portions of this video, and then he will also be letting us know who he plans to BT Plus out of this pair, of characters that's going to be dropping here towards the end of October. So with that being said, if you guys do enjoy the video, consider liking the video and subscribing for future Opera Omnia content. Make sure to check his channel out at the end of this video. Go like his stuff, go subscribe, do all that good stuff. He has some great runs in his channel. That link will be down in the description below. Let's go ahead and get into it, guys. We're going to first start off with Vayne and then Cloud of Darkness. And then, of course, we'll end it off with who we plan to BT Plus.
答えろなあ絶対の力この手で新たな歴史を
So we're first going to start off with Vayne's LD ability. Now, I'm not going to get into like how many HP dumps it has, you know, this and that. There was one certain thing that I do want to focus on with his LD ability, and that is the brand new buff called Contempt. Now, this buff provides him with a 20% max brave up, attack up, a 10% HP damage up, and a bravery gem based on 10% of his max brave. But this buff also provides party aura. So to the party, including him, he will be getting an extra, the party will be getting a 20% attack and max brave up. But to Vayne himself, since this does stack on top of what he is giving himself in this buff, he will be having a 40% max brave up and a 40% attack up. Now, he is also providing a 10% HP damage up to the parties, but to Vayne will have a total of a 20% HP damage up. And he's also going to be providing a brave regen based on 20% of their max braves, but to Vayne, he is going to be getting a 30%. And then once you fully once you give him his boards and everything, his character boards and whatnot, and you fully max him out, his LD, so on and so forth, he does add an additional 5% max brave up.
When it does come down to Vayne, I definitely think that because of the party auras that he does have, not only is he going to be a very awesome DPS to have in the team, but he does contribute a lot more to the team with this LD that he's going to be added onto his kit with the Global Opera Omnia side. I definitely can say, from my own standings and definitely looking at it me personally, I feel like this is definitely going to be adding a whole lot to his kit. Not to mention that the LD gives him the stacking buff for him automatically turns it to, I think it is 3 if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So it will definitely kicks it into the full level, so that way he can automatically go into, on his next turn, he will be able to really do all 3 of his turns properly with that setup. So he gets a very massive stat boost for the team, even if it is in the form of the attack, HP damage increase, and the max brave as well. But for him, he's definitely offering a lot for the team with just the LD.
His BT, which is called Giga Flare Sword, with his BT effect in general, before you even decide to throw a book at it, before you start throwing ingots in it, so on and so forth, So with his BT effect, which does last for 10 turns, provides the party with an additional Brave regen by 20% of the max Brave, a 30% attack up, a 30% Brave damage up, and a 20% Brave damage cap up. Now, another thing about this BT effect is that whenever he or a party member breaks an enemy, he does trigger a follow-up attack. Now, this follow-up attack, it's a 3 hits AoE Brave plus an HP attack that has 2 HP dumps in it. Now, once you start throwing the book and the ingots into his BT, what you get out of it, if I can find the correct screen here, there we go. So at 0 out of 3, whenever you use his BT attack, he gets an increase in Brave potency of 200% per hit. He also gets an increase in Brave damage cap up and an increase in max Brave cap up. Once you throw an ingot into it, you get an increase in the burst mode by 1. At 2 out of 3, he does add an additional 30% attack up. So in total, that is a 60% attack up that he is providing to the party. And he also adds party Brave damage cap up by 10%. So the party is able to do 12,998. Also, with his follow-up attack that he does, it now becomes a 4 hits AoE Brave plus an HP attack with 2 HP dumps, and the potency of it also gets increased by 30% per hit. And then finally, at 3 out of 3, he gets that additional use of his BT effect, so that you can use it alongside with whoever else. Just basically an additional effect is what you're getting at.
I definitely think when it comes down to Vayne, a lot of people have a couple of things talk differently when it does come down to it, because the 2 BT units are going to be, as we will be talking about later, will be Cloud of Darkness and Vayne. But Vayne in his own right, especially with this BT effect, adds a lot to his kit as well, and adds even more attack to the team as well. That his BT effect is definitely strong for him, just because he does have a lot of abilities that break and unbreak targets, so that way he can definitely break again. Like if you are rolling with his skill 2, his skill 2 will have a couple of hits at the beginning of it, and it will unbreak the target, and he can re-break on the last set of hits going into the last set of it. And on top of that, his EX will unbreak and re-break a target, guaranteed, if you can keep his stats above and beyond, and also being able to actually have him have a high Brave cap damage. So he will be able to break a target with both his skill 2 and his EX. So you don't ever have to really worry about the damage from him falling off, especially when you're actually looking at him breaking. But it does help when you can bring other breakers along to the party as well. So it's not just Vayne breaking, but other party members breaking as well. So as far as Vayne is concerned, I think that when it does come down to Vayne, I definitely feel like Vayne is a very powerful unit in his own right. However, he does need assistance, just like how any DPS currently in the 80 era needs assistance. Even if he is a BT candidate, he definitely he can definitely be better, and there's units that can definitely make him better. If you roll him with Bart's, a unit like Bart's, because we just recently got him in the last BT batch, his BT plus would actually benefit Vayne a whole lot, just because you have Bart's who is able to imperil wind and enchant wind, along with giving a brave regen and a brave refund as well. So there is that when it comes down to Bart's and Vayne. Those two working together are very, very powerful. However, there will be another LD that gets released in Vayne's BT cycle that I know that a lot of people may look at and they're not sure of, and that would be Kate. Vayne has a lot of hits in his kit, and Kate's LD makes sure that if you're hitting while you're doing brave damage, you're being refunded in that whole, in the entirety of all the brave damage going on. So if you can actually bring the best out of him, by bringing the best out of him, there would be defensive units, or not really defensive units, debuffer units in particular. Anybody who can break or re-break a target will also be nice for him. Anybody who can break on their own merit, and if they can break a broken target, even better. So anybody who really people who really synergize well with him, or people who can take advantage of his BT effect with the breaking and unbreaking of a target, and on top of that, being able to increase the damage for everybody, an enabler or an enchanter, or anybody who would really be able to drop defense low enough to where Vayne can really get at them, because a defense. The defense buffs for certain enemies that we will be going up against, if you can drop them low enough, anybody can get around those. And Vayne can really be able to punch through very, very hard if you can definitely set him up for it. I can definitely say that more than anything else for Vayne.
Now, with that being said, on Vayne, we're not going to move over to Cloud of Darkness, and we'll talk about what upgrade she is going to be getting with her BT+.
行け無に返すとしようそれこれがわしとの差だ消え去れ
Alright, so with Cloud of Darkness, and now that she is getting her BT+, she is in a way getting more damage in her kit now with her upgrades on her BT. So whenever you throw a book into her BT, she now does a 10-hit group magic braid plus an HP attack with 2 HP dumps, so she'll basically be able to do up to 1 mil in damage. When you start throwing a ingot into it, she gets an increase in the burst mode by 1. At 2 out of 3 is when she starts actually getting some pretty good stuff. So whenever you use her BT, she does get an extension to her BT effect, so now it lasts for 8 turns. Then she also adds to the party, because she was basically like all about herself and that's it. But the fact that she is now providing the party with a 20% stolen max wave overflow up and a 20% HP damage up is gonna benefit not only her but also everybody else in the party. So at least she's providing a little bit of something, because like the whole thing with Cloud of Darkness is like she was all about the follow-ups and the follow-up damage that she was doing throughout her initial BT release. But now with the fact that she is gonna be getting for herself, if we just focus on herself, now that she is going to be getting that extra HP damage up and she's getting overflow up, alongside with the buff that she is getting from her LD ability, like she will technically be getting herself a 40% HP damage up as long as you have that BT effect and the buff that she gets from her LD active. And then one thing about her LD is the fact that whenever she is dealing critical brave damage, she does get that brave damage up by 50%. This is why a lot of units, especially on the JP side, use Cloud of Darkness either in party or as a friend, because of the amount of brave damage and the HP damage that she was dealing on all targets.
I definitely think that a lot of people have talked about Cloud of Darkness. And when it does come down to Cloud of Darkness, it's pretty much have been shown all over. When a Cloud of Darkness hits the field, whether she's on the field in your main team or as a friend, it's just going to be a matter of how many seconds it takes for her to delete something from the field. Whether she is going to be using her LD, her BT effect, or even her skill 2, Cloud of Darkness brings a lot of damage to the table real fast, real hard. I definitely think that when it does come down to her, I would say that she does need a lot of setup. However, she isn't something that it is definitely something that you can definitely plug in, you can definitely put into your team, but you definitely want to be mindful of the things that you will be encountering going forward with Lufinia Plus. There will be some bosses that will definitely have higher than normal stat weights that you will have to contend with. So if a target is broken, she's a very, very powerful, she's a very, very heavy damage dealer. But if an enemy is not broken, you definitely want to be aware of that. So that way you can definitely plan around how you guys are going to be using her, how to use Cloud of Darkness, and definitely how Cloud of Darkness is going to be able to benefit your team as well. Cloud of Darkness deals a lot of damage real hard, real fast again, but definitely want to be mindful of how you use and making sure that Cloud of Darkness isn't jumping up in turns and taking unnecessary turns. you want Cloud of Darkness to be very, very happy behind somebody.
And speaking on that, as we can transition over to who she synergizes with, and then like what kind of like the pros and cons of her. So with characters that synergize well with Cloud of Darkness, any character that is able to, in a way, like have her start out with any type of like brave before she even attacks, and I'm talking about, like, take example like Iroha with her LD effect, or if you were to use her as a call ability, having that little bit of starting brave before she deals her follow-up attacks, or just her abilities in general, will really benefit her, especially because like you do have that HP damage up and the extra that she's getting now from her BT plus, and just knowing the fact that you have that brave damage up whenever you're dealing critical brave damage will help a lot. Other units that could easily help her out too, to try to avoid her getting broken, especially if you use her as a friend unit. So if you do have characters that, like, say attack like before her or after her, if they are able to like break the enemy before she does, that will extend her longevity, and you'll be able to take advantage of those nasty follow-ups that she deals or does with her BT effect active. So like, take example, Core would definitely be a really good character to have paired up with Cloud of Darkness, because like he will attack before she does, and if he does manage to break the enemy, then that would be a good thing for Cloud of Darkness, unless you are trying to get Cloud of Darkness up in front of the turn order first. Then that's you kind of, in a way, like, you have to like play around with it when in terms of like trying to avoid breakage, but at the same time, like, if you want her to break, that's not a problem. Like, I feel like she does work either ways, or whichever direction you want to take her. And then other characters, let's take example, would be like bots, if you do have his BT plus, and if you do have it active, that will really help out as well, because she does get that brave refund depending on the amount of HP damage that she deals. Enchanters will work perfectly with her. There's a lot of combinations that you can have with Cloud of Darkness because of those follow-ups, because of the fact that she does have options to delay, and a few other things.
I would definitely say another unit that pairs well with her would be Porum and your Stolen as well. With those two in the team, when Porum does her follow-up, it'll automatically set. It will definitely have Cloud of Darkness Brave high enough to where when she does do the follow-up, she'll be able to dish out a large variety of HP damage, while on top of that being able to refund herself just enough to where she can get by. And on top of that, if you are dealing with an HP heavy attack, like an HP group heavy attack boss, you will most likely see Cloud of Darkness counter. And Cloud of Darkness, when she gets HP attack, she does counter a lot of enemies who do like group hits. So you will definitely see with Cloud of Darkness has abilities to attack on turn, off turn, and even counter certain enemies, especially when they're doing certain attacks against the team. So Cloud of Darkness has multiple ways of firing things off. That's not even talking about the skill 2 when she's at 5 stacks, like being able to completely blow an enemy away and delaying them by 3 turns. Like she has Cloud of Darkness has a lot to their kit.
Mm-hmm. And then, like, one of the cons about her is that she is a straight damage dealer. Like, she's all about the damage and everything like that. So of course she will need some help, either via call abilities or from other characters. And like Kaiden mentioned, having characters with Brave Gain, like Orm or Yustola, Agrius, and a few others, Quistis, who just got her LD. You definitely want to pair up her with somebody that does provide some strong Brave Gainer, because especially since we are, still, to some players, they're still getting used to this whole massive Brave reductions and whatnot. But to those who already feel comfortable with it, just having that strong support character with that Brave gain up, and if the enemy is broken, just know that you'll be able to do that. You get that increase in Brave damage when she is dealing critical Brave damage. And then of course with like debuffs or anything like that, like definitely like have your enchanters, have those defense downs either from your call ability or, you know, depending on who you pair up Cloud of Darkness with. You know, there's many things, but like in my opinion, like with her being a sole DPS character, like, you know, you definitely want to help her out in terms of like the brave gain up especially. And you know, if you're able to pair up with enchanters or use call abilities to try to increase the amount of brave damage that she deals, and those follow-ups are gonna be you know, they're gonna speed up the fight.
Definitely can say that. Definitely can say that and more. If you combine her with Ace, and Cloud of Darkness, it's not a matter of minutes anymore. It's a matter of seconds. I can definitely sit there and say that without a fact.
So now we are going to get into the, I guess, like the final portions of the video where we are going to let you guys know who we plan to BT plus and why. Do you want to go first?
Sure, I'll take it first. As far as as far as the BT plus goes between these two, one of them I already have, and I already have Cloud of Darkness's BT. For me, however, I'm leaning more towards Vayne, just because of the fact that I'm very interested in what Vayne does. He has very good on-turn damage, and if you can break, he has very good off-turn damage. On top of that, he provides a lot of different attack auras for the team as well, with Max Brave as well. And if I do get lucky enough to get his BT, I'm definitely going to be taking advantage of that and finding team comps that can actually take advantage of his whole breaking and not like breaking and unbreaking with his BT effect. I feel like Vayne, for me, just suits my playstyle more. Just because of the fact that I really like Brave shaving more than Brave gains for me personally. I like being able to have all of my units on my team doing big numbers while also being able to really be able to hit hard. For me, debuff supremacy always works over anything else. But however, there will be bosses that will have debuff immunity, so I will most likely be crying in the corner trying to run Kadash or things. But when it does come down to it, I definitely think more than anything else that when it does come down to it, me, Vayne is going to be a BT that I'm going to BT plus and I'm going to enjoy using for myself personally. But it just depends on how nice he is to me. Hint, hint, please be nice, Vayne.
Now for me, I will be going with Cloud of Darkness, because if you guys have watched my pool planning video for the first 2.5 to 3 months for these BT characters, I said that I was going to do the opposite of what I did in JP. Now, I BT plus Vayne. I don't regret BT plusing Vayne. I had no issues with Vayne or anything like that. I mean, he did his job, and you know, to me, I was very much satisfied with everything he received when I use him in JP. But I really want to BT plus, and I plan to BT plus Cloud of Darkness only because I want those disgusting follow-up attacks. I have a good amount of characters that will be able to support Cloud of Darkness. I do have my Poem, I do have Yushtola, I do have Quistis, I do have a few other characters. There are some other characters coming up here in the month of November that I plan on combining with Cloud of Darkness, and that one that comes to mind immediately is definitely going to be Katsif. And I feel like some players might downplay Katsif, but best believe his LD ability is stupid good. And if you were to combine Katsif with Cloud of Darkness, oh my god, the numbers are going to be insane. And the only reason why I say that is because whenever I use the Frank Cloud of Darkness in JP, and I had Katsif in my team comps, the amount of damage that she was dealing was insane, and I was very much satisfied. And I told myself, if I ever had the extra resources to BT plus her on JP, I would do it, but I didn't because, of course, JP doesn't have the lovely gift of foresight compared to global. So like, I had to be careful with who I BT plus at the time. So now that I know what Cloud of Darkness is capable of and the amount of follow-up damage that she is going to deal with, as long as I pair her up with certain units, then yeah, she's gonna be bringing down the pain, and she's gonna be dealing a very good amount of damage in between attacks and whatnot with a follow-up. So I'm gonna be going with a Cloud of Darkness.
Definitely want to put this on the table for anybody who's still kind of sort of on between the two. When it comes down to Vayne and when it comes down to Cloud of Darkness, definitely take a look at your roster and figure out which one that you need more, because Vayne and Cloud of Darkness both have very, very strong delay setups in their kits, where Cloud of Darkness has amazing follow-up damage and Vayne also has follow-up damage. But the differences between the two is Vayne needs breaking in order for him to follow up, where Cloud of Darkness just needs anybody to act, and like anybody on your team to act for her in order for Cloud of Darkness to act up. So there are multiple ways around it, but Vayne and Cloud of Darkness also have two different BP effect factors when it kicks in as well. Vayne is more hinted towards brave damage, where Cloud of Darkness is more hinted at HP damage increase. So there is that across the board. Please keep in mind that when it does come down to it, they have very, very strong damage outputs in their kits, both of them do. But if you're looking at like the long term, or if you're looking at just something that fits your playstyle, remember that Vayne's stats increase along with brave damage increase, where Cloud of Darkness is brave damage overflow, it's brave overflow along with HP damage increase into their BT effects and how they can benefit the team. But they both are very selfish with the follow-up damage. They are both very selfish with that.
Well, yeah. So with that being said, guys, let us know who you plan to BT plus here in the next week, or I guess whenever the banners actually do drop as we're recording this video. Do let us know who you plan to BT plusing, or if you're actually gonna hold out and wait for, let's say, like the next pair of BT plus characters. Do let us know in the comment section below. We're both curious to see who is going to be BT plusing who, or if any of y'all are going to be waiting for future BT plus characters that are coming closer and closer down the line. But with that being said, if you guys do enjoy the video, consider liking the video and subscribing for future Upper Omnia content. Please go check out Caden's channel. I will have that link down in the description below. And that being said, that's going to be it.
Take care, guys. Have a nice day.
All right. And we'll catch you guys in the next video.
Bye-bye.